Hey, how are you? How are you? So we're gonna read a book. It's called No Angel, my harrowing undercover journey to the inner circle of the Hells Angels by J. Davins is an ATF special agent and also by Niels Johnson Shelton. Hells Angel. Timmy leaned casually against the rear fender of my black Mercury car, a cell phone on his ear and a smile on his face. The bastard was typically calm. 12 months I'd been his partner, in and out of harm's way. Both together and alone, and the guy never looked stressed. He was as self-possessed as a rooster in a hen house, my polar opposite. I paced in front of him, rehearsing what I was going to tell our Hells Angels, Hells Angels brothers. I shook the last smoke out of a pack of Newports. I think Newports, round of cigarette. He racked the shit. I lit the cigarette, crumpled the pack, and threw it to the ground. It was 10 o'clock a.m., and I already emptied the first pack of the cartoon I bought that morning. Timmy said into his phone, I love you too, honey cake. I should be home soon. They'd be saying things like that ongoing on 5 minutes. I stared at him and said, the facts, stud. Come on. Timmy put a finger in the air and continued on the phone. Okay, get around. Love you guys. Okay, see you tonight. He snapped his phone closed. What's the drama, bird? We got this. Oh, nothing really. I pointed at the guy lying face down at our feet. Just that if they don't buy it, then we'll end up like this asshole. There in a shallow desert ditch was a gray-haired Caucasian male, his head split to the white meat. A pile of brains had oozed to the ground where Timmy had put Jablis .380. Blood droplets sprayed into the sand and dirt, made small dark constellations. His blue jeans were splattered and with purple, quarter-sized splotches. His wrists and ankles were bound with duct tape. His hands were limped. It was already over 100 degrees, and the promise of coagulated blood and exposed matter had begun to attract flies. I asked, you think he's dead? Timmy said, dude looks deadier in this scale. Shit, those look like his brains in the dirt. Timmy leaned in closer. Yeah, I'd say he's pretty dead. He spat a stream of phlegm into the brush beyond the grave. Dude, no fucking around. We go home and show the boys we killed a Mungu. Then we better be dead now. Sure, it doesn't look like he's coming back. Timmy smiled. Relax, bird. We got this. Like Lionel Richie said, we're easy like Sunday morning. And then he started to sing badly. Why in the world would anybody put James? I don't know the melody of this song, but the lyric says, Why in the world would anybody put chains on me? I'd pay my dues to make it. Everybody wants me to be what they want me to be. I'm not happy when I try to fake it. So that's why I'm easy. Yeah, I'm easy like Sunday morning. I smiled and said, "You're right, you're right. And even if you aren't, I don't see how it matters. We've gone too far." He thought about that for a second. Yeah, we have. He thought about that for a second. Yeah, we have. We threw a couple shovels of dirt on our corpse and took some pictures. We relieved him of his Mongol jacket, stuffing it in a FedEx bags. We got into the car and headed home to Phoenix. Timmy drove. I made some phone calls. I lit a cigarette and waited for someone to pick up at the clubhouse. Inhale, hold it, click. The voice said, Skull Valley. I said, Bobby, it's Bird. Bird? What the fuck? Study here. Now, no. Bobby's waiter's voice was humorless and empty. We're on our way, or we're on our way back. We who? Inhale, hold it in. I said, me and Timmy. New Paps? New Paps stay down in Mexico. So Paps is gone. I heard him light a cigarette. It only started smoking again since he'd met me. Yeah, dude. Well, Bobby smoked, inhaled, held it in. I said, we should probably talk about this later, don't you think? You snap out of it. Yeah, of course. When will you be back? Soon. I'll call when we're back in the valley. Okay, get home safe. We will. Don't worry, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, later. Later. I flew my soul shots and turned to me, said. I said, he beat it. Perhaps that should work to our advantage. I flipped my soul shot and turned it to Timmy. I said, he beat it. Perhaps that should work to our advantage. Timmy barely nodded. He was probably thinking about his wife and kids. Above all else, Timmy was distant. I looked past him, the spalt and brown California pines. The late afternoon grid of Phoenix, Arizona moved beyond his like a sunset movie backdrop. The next afternoon, JJ, Timmy, and I showed at Pizza Hut. We hadn't seen Bobby or any of the other boys yet. We wanted their attention to build. JJ's phone rang. She looked at Adi, then at me. I shrugged, stabbed a pepperoni slice in my mouth and nodded. She flipped open, hello. She grinned. Hi, Bobby. No, I haven't heard from him. You have? When? What did he say? He said, what? Bobby, what the fuck do you mean? Paps is... Bob Standard. She lowered her voice and choked out the words with a pride and shudder. Bobby, you're scaring me. I don't know what the fuck's going on. All I know is a FedEx bags came to the house this morning. It was sent from Nogales, Mexico. She pulled the phone away from her ear and placed a slice of roasted green pepper in her mouth. She sipped more iced tea. No way, Bobby, I'm not opening shit. No, forget it. Not until Bird gets back. This is furious, convincing the fact that our plans seem to be working. Eileen is a leather banquet. We weren't your average looking cops. We weren't even your average looking undercover cops. And we painted quite a picture. Timmy and I were bald, muscular, covered in tattoos. JJ was cute, buxom and focused. My eyes were blue and always lit up. Timmy's brown and wise. JJ's green and eager. Each of my long, bony fingers was armored with silver rings. depicting things like skulls and talons and lightning bolts. My long, straggly goatee was hazardly twisted into a ragged braid. JJ and I wore wide wife beater tank tops, and Timmy wore a black sleeveless t-shirt that said Skull Valley Graveyard Crew over the heart. I wore green camel cargo pants and flip-flops, and they wore jeans and riding boots, which commonly carried at least one firearm. I'm not coming over there with the bags. I'm waiting till Bird gets home. All right, bye. She hung up. She turned back to us and asked sarcastically, "So, Hattie, when can I expect you?" I grinned and said, "Anytime now, anytime." Okay, can't wait. We laughed and finished our lunch. We'd been running ragged for months and were in the home stretch. With that, like Timmy and I were about to become full patch Hills Angels, and JJ was about to become a real live H8 old baby. Oh, lady, with intellect. So we turn into chapter 2 of our story. I didn't come from a lot of cops. I wasn't raised in this project. And an alcoholic father didn't beat me. I grew up in white middle class America with a bike and a baseball glove and family vacations. I played football and played it well. I went to college as a wide receiver for the Arizona Wildcats. In that first year, 1982, I showed up at a fall camp for a 2 days in a 100-degree hellhole in Douglas, Arizona. The practice field was smacked in the middle of the desert, turf silence, 1 or 2 feet of desert scrabble, and then cactus. Most wide outs want to outrun the defense for game-winning passes, catch the ball over the shoulder, and screw the prom queen. I wouldn't have minded the prom queen, but I wasn't the kind of receiver. The coaches knew this, and they put me at number 6 on the depth chart. That had to change. I jumped in the play rotation whenever a snot over the middle was cold or a crack on a linebacker was needed. I got the dog's snot beat out of me, down after down. One play, I got an out route and the ball was overthrown. I ran out bounds into the desert and dove, grabbing the ball by landing in a patch of cola cactus, which are the nastiest of all cacti. I spent the rest of practice with the trainers putting needles out of my face and arms with pliers. The other players laughed at me because what full cases? An overthrow in a cola. I checked the deep chart the next day. I'd taken the first spot, and for the rest of my college career, I wouldn't give up it anymore, no matter how fast he was. By the time I graduated, I was all packed in. I was slightly scouted and I went to the NFL combine. But from the minute I walked onto the field, I realized that my chances were slim to none. One scout put it perfectly. He said, "I can coach these guys to catch like you, but I can teach you how to run faster." Next to the guys coming up that year, I looked like molasses poured into cement. Guys like Vance Johnson, Alton, Andre Reed, Eddie Brown, and Jerry Rice. And maybe you heard of some of them. I knew I could cobble together a career of 2 or 3 years, but every year I had to reprove myself in comp. and at best I'd be third or fourth string option. My dreams were crushed, and I didn't know what to do. I gotten too used to crowds screaming for me, too addicted to adrenaline to just let it kill. Eventually, I turned to law enforcement. I was young and bought into the Hollywood vision of being a cop. I considered the FBI and the Secret Service, but ultimately, I ended up at the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, ATF. This was where I transformed from star college athlete to hardened undercover cop. It happened one of my first training missions, and it went down like this. We've gotten a warrant for one Brent Purvis guard who has just gotten out of prison and was rumored to be in possession of used .38 Rusi. We were going to bust him on ATM's bread and batter violation, felon in possession of a firearm, 18 U.S.C. Section 922 G1. I was assigned outside perimeter of Culver with my training officer, Lee Melwer. We rode in a crappy 1983 Monte Carlo. Wow. We interviewed Provost Gord's mom at her house south of Tucson Airport at the intersection of Krieger Road and Old Nogales Highway. She said he wasn't in and he'd be back sooner or later. We left and staked out the place. What Mrs. Provestgard declined to tell us was that her son had sworn he'd never go back to prison, and that he was out in the Tucson scrub shooting his .38. Wow. He came home on his motorcycle. He's warm and he bolted foot. I took off, passing everyone and disobeying orders to stay back. While a 4.6 in the NFL is nothing special, it's sick speed for a cop. I assembled with my team and they ribbed me about how I was supposed to be some sort of star athlete, but I couldn't catch 150-pound junkie motorcycle boots. No wonder I was in the ATF and not the NFL. That kind of thing. As we staged, I never yelled from her window that she'd just seen Progress Guard. We took off. First rookie mistake. No matter how out of breath you are from chasing a pearl, never ever take off your ballistics vest when there's a lull in the action, which is exactly what I've done. The team split up. I walked behind our much loved boss, Larry Thomason, through an overgrown track between a development and road. Tall grass and low trees were everywhere. We crept past the hidden Provost Guard. I caught movement out of the corner of my eye. But before I could react, he was up with his gun on me. Drop it, motherfucker. Drop it, motherfucker. Drop it, motherfucker. I knew better. I held my gun. A .357 Smith & Wesson revolver at the ready position, pointed to the ground at a 45-degree angle. He cocked the Rusi hammer, yelling, "Motherfucker, I will kill you where you stand. Drop the fucking gun." There's a warning. You better, I hold my gun, okay? I holstered my revolver and put my hands in the air. Thomason cocked his hammer. He had West Guard in his sights, but he was toting a 2-inch barrel revolver, and he was 30 feet away. What? Thomason knew that if he fired, there was a good chance he'd hit me. He held it. It was the right decision, but one that gravely altered his psyche. He was committed leader in charge of showing a man or a young man that the ropes of the dangerous profession, and he never forgave himself for not taking the shot. I've always told him that the blame was mine, but he never accepted. The other searching an adjacent area responded. When Proboscis saw the empty Monte Carlo, his eyes intense, bottomless specks lit up. He was going to get out of there. Proboscis gun was thrust out in front of him. When he got close enough, I planned on pulling his arm and using it as a leverage to disarm him. Hi, good evening. This is a broadcast from the Philippines. So this is a Saturday evening here. It's June 29, 2024. That plan died when he tacked the gun to his side. Before I knew it, he had me in front of him, his arm around my neck, the cold barrel of the rosy at my temple. I didn't like that. I suddenly realized that it had rained earlier, and the desert brush smelled like a clean backyard, which is what I imagine heaven must smell like. Oh, he smelled heaven. What? I hope I wasn't about to find out if my imagination was correct. Really? So you should be imagining something about heaven. So, yeah, it's a very dangerous job, always, to be a police officer. We moved to the car. Professor God showed me, okay, into the driver's seat and squeezed into the back, keeping the gun on my head. 80 of agents surrounded us, their weapons drawn and their mouths running. Professor God said, "Close the door and drive, motherfucker." I didn't. The car wasn't running. The keys were in the ignition. He shoved the barrel into the hollow of my neck. I wondered, should I drive, put the belt on, or the seatbelt on and run into the telephone pole, or get shot here and let my partners waste him, or who one of them gets a clean line on him right this second, or lie down and try to stay out of the way of everyone's bullet that were sure to puncture the Monte Carlo any second, or uh, or or drop the keys. Yes, drop the keys. If I was going to die, then he was going to die too. I pulled the keys out of the ignition and let them fall into the footwell. I said, "Drop the keys, motherfucker." I leaned forward and Professor did too. Mellor was closest to the passenger side of the car, stacked his revolver in the rear window's gap and emptied it. Others fired. Professor Gard, his body shocked from the bullets cleaning out his heart and lungs, reflexively squeezed the rear russe's trigger. The bullet went in between my shoulder's blades, just missed my spine, punctured the top of my left lung and exited under my collarbone. Professor Gard had the death rattle. I had a hole in my chest. Oh, our our man was shot into the chest. They call it a sagging chest wound because when you inhale, air is sucked through the wound directly into the void of collapsing lung. Blood gushed out of the hole like water from a garden spigot. We were dragged out of the car. Professor was cuffed. You have to the police procedure in times like this and laid in the dirt face up. I was shoved into the back seat in pools of Professor blood and blood and tears. And Thomason jumped into the front seat and took off. I was in and out of consciousness as Thomason, Charles Dale, Earthard Jr. through the task. I said the Lord's Prayer and apologized to my parents for not being a good enough cop to make them proud. Then I took a little nap. I came to at the hospital. I was on a gurney, the ceiling rashed by in blue and white sticks, the sob by the anxious pitter patter of nurses and orderlies' feet on linoleum filled my car or my ears. There were two black nostrils about me, and above them a tuft of brown hair, and around a half moon of white pepper, hot miners. Her gaze was locked on the horizon. I asked, I am going to die. She looked down. She was pretty. Her left hand pushed into mine and said, your heart bad. We're not sure yet. I passed back out. I walked back to a screaming pain in my chest. A boyish resident was inserting a clear tube into the hole. It scuttled through my ribcage to prevent me from drowning in my own blood. The tube would also be used to clear blood clots before I went into the operating room. I never felt such pain and discomfort having an inch wide tube inserted into a raw hole of flesh was like. Well, it was just like that. I was not anesthetized. Anesthetized, okay. Anesthetized. There hadn't been time. Can I change my tone or my diction or my accent? Okay, we're experimenting here. I was dying. I looked at the tube which was attached to my pump, or to a pump. Stewed tomatoes, aka my blood and guts, pulled through it. Is it probably that they put a shunt in my femoral artery that helped guide a medical camera through my torso? He said they were looking for the heart and the arterial damage caused by bullet frog. I thought far out. Oh, we're just practicing yet, okay? It's not a total introductory conversation with you guys. I'm just practicing my conversational, what I call it, my conversational aura to you. So thank you for watching and listening, and thank you for understanding. We're not perfect here. Will not be at all costs. Not perfect, but we will try. Okay, we will do the best thing that we can to improve our our personality, our conversational ability with you while we are having our live broadcasts. So you're listening to 102.3 Spirit AM. I am your DJ Sugar Daddy, and this is 102.3 Spirit FM, the best of the best.